Hey everybody, this is Farmer Phil. Welcome to Eric Bunk's Vintage Sportsman.
Welcome to Eric Bunk's Vintage Sportsman, where we bring you the best in outdoor entertainment. Welcome to Eric Bunk's Vintage Sportsman. On our way to our deer spot, doing a little hunting this afternoon, a little bow hunting, and winter bow season 2020. See what we can get. Come along with us, stay tuned. Well folks, here we are, going on our first hunt again here. Going down a small creek. And when you go down these areas and these swamps, when you want to get the deer, this is where you're going to have to go sometimes, where a lot of other people won't go. Here we are, a little past our knees up in the water, but you got to go where the deer are. And a lot of times those hard to reach places can be real nice for deer and fox and all kinds of small game, really. That's where we like to go. I love hunting the swamps. Problem is, when it's icy, it's a little noisy walking. But we do the best we can and try to get in as quiet as possible and just get a seat and hope for the best. Notice my boots there. Those are some good old Dan's Gear boots. Them things are tough as nails. And the only thing I changed out of here is when I carried that in, you got to have your orange hat on. That's a reversible hat. And you have to have, by law, orange hat or a vest when you're carrying in and out your decoy. Well, I use the reversible, so I just take the orange hat and reverse it, so now I'm camouflaged. But here I am just setting up a decoy, hoping something will come into it and see what happens. And then notice that the doe deer is feeding in a feeding position, so it looks like it's relaxed. So a deer sees that deer feeding, it looks like it's a relaxed deer, doesn't really have a care in the world. And here I am too, spraying it a little down with some deer scent. It actually smells like a deer, so at least you get the scent and the visual on that decoy. And I try to place the head kind of facing a little bit on an angle in case the deer decides to circle. Then at least I'll have a shot. You know how they circle in on bucks. I'm not sure how they react with doe decoys, but this is the way I always saw Stan Potts do it, so I take his advice. He shoots a lot of big bucks. He's a good hunter. And yeah, well, we got her ready. We got our little nice broadhead set there. Nice razor sharp, 150 grains. The old super arrows there, ready to go. Our lighted nocks. Just ready to have a good time in the woods. You know, whether we see something or not, the whole idea is just to get out in the woods, get some fresh air, and have some fun. Hopefully I don't see more than squirrels. Usually that's all I see is squirrels sometimes. But you just sit back. I'd put some sticks down in the mud there, hammer them down in for a backrest when you don't have a tree behind you. Luckily the mud was soft enough where I hammered some 3 posts in the ground. And sitting on a pair of old milk crates there, tied together, and now you got something to lean your back on. Always check your equipment. Here I am just, actually I should have a blunt tipped arrow and actually fire a shot. Fred Bear always says, shoot an arrow, get that last bad shot out of your system, fire an arrow and get a good practice shot, which I probably should have done there. But as long as I pull back, make sure there's nothing obstructing those limbs there in the way with that thick brush blind. That's very important. Here's my front view from what the deer would see. And it's pretty concealed in there. That top limb's the only thing really that gives you away. That and my face isn't really covered up. I probably should have some camouflage paint on my face or something. That white face gives you away a lot. But behind this trees, by the time that deer steps out to my left, I could see the deer coming through a hole in the Christmas trees. So it gives me a little chance to get the bow up ready and draw before the deer even gets there. There's darkness setting in. Camera doesn't perform very well in low light, but nothing yet coming in. A lot of times it's hit or miss. You just don't always see the deer. The deer don't have anywhere they have to be, and they come in when they come in. They're out in the woods 24 hours a day. They're not in any hurry. Well, here I am walking out. Fortunately, this time the deer won. But we had an enjoyable sit in the woods. Now let's go to some deer trail cam footage to find out exactly what is going to be in after we leave. Because you know there's going to be deer in after we leave. Isn't that always the case? But we'll see, we got some footage coming up. Let's see what... Oh, there we go. Murphy's Law has it. Now the date and time is wrong on the bottom. I didn't set my camera. So it's not 2015. Well, we got some nice, not legal deer in here in Zone 3 in New Jersey, but nonetheless, if you're in Zone 2 or in some other zones, it may be legal. Well, these nice cow horn spike, as they call them, go big old cow horns. A deer in the back there, if you see. And he's sniffing around. I sprayed some deer scent on that brush out there. And that deer's sniffing around. He's interested. Now, if that was during the daytime, that'd be good.
Welcome back. This is our Practical Sportsman's Corner, where we go over some ideas and things to make your life a little bit easier in the outdoors. Now, I have a Igloo cooler here. We're not sponsored by Igloo. Use any cooler you want. This is what I happen to have on hand. And it is perfect for storing your hunting clothes. You want to keep your clothes scent-free. Cooking odors are really, really clingy. If you go into a house and they're cooking bacon, your clothes are going to smell like bacon. You don't want that. So what I try to do is I take my wool and stuff and I'll pack it into a cooler, and I have it kind of fluffed up a little bit here to show you. And it just kind of keeps them from getting those odors in there. Another tip is Lowe's and Home Depot, other places, big box stores, have larger plastic versions of like a job box, but they're made of plastic and they have like a rubber seal on them. And I use those for my wool. They're really large to store for your average homeowner, but I have a little spare room that I use to store it, so it's a little more practical. But if you're short on space, this cooler is just perfect for your main hunting clothes, because you just take them, set them in there, you close the top, and you got it all set to go, and you can keep those unwanted odors out of there. And another tip I have done is I took an old pair of camouflage pants, took the actual pant leg because they were all torn up, and we had it sewed into a bag. And this is an old trick. I think Bob Gilsvik, an old author, had recommended this in one of his books I read years ago, and he was always good at these kind of clever ideas. And you can make a sack out of that and put all your hunting stuff in there, or camping items. But what I happen to do is I take one of these old driving pillows, and because it's like that memory foam, I'll take it and I'll just shove it inside these old pant legs. If I can get it down in there again. And you just want to crush it down. And here you have a nice back pillow for your deer stand. Now I happen to sit on a ground blind, and I have a bunch of different seats that I use. They're not all the same, but here it fits in your pack because it's memory foam. You can crush that up and you can make it real small. You can get it at memory foam real small, and you can actually wrap it with string or rope or something like that. But it really is a lifesaver, because once it gets blows up a little bit and kind of retakes its shape, it's perfect for you small of your back. You can use it while you're driving to your hunting spot, and when you're hunting spot, and then take it out and use it for your deer stand. So you got another little practical idea there. But this is a great way. Coolers and those old job boxes and the plastic ones, and you could put a little bit of baking soda down in there and keep the scent free. Or if you want to spray it with your favorite scent, your cover scent, and you want to close that up, and they'll kind of hold it a little bit too. So those are a couple little tips and ideas for you for the Practical Sportsman. So good luck out there and good hunting. Welcome to Eric Bunk's Vintage Sportsman. Today we're going to talk about choosing a recurve bow when you first start out. And if you haven't really messed around before with recurves, just some recommendations that I have when you first get into hunting, maybe you're a beginning bow hunter. First thing that I would recommend is get a nice lightweight. This is a Bear takedown bow here, and this bow runs about 45 pounds. And this is a great bow to start with. It's a good bow for any person who wants to bow hunt. It's got a nice weight to it. It's not too heavy, but yet at the same time it's stable. It's a stable shooter. But the main thing is you got to remember you want to have fun out there in the woods. And if you have a bow that you don't want to shoot because it's too heavy, well, then you're not going to shoot as much. So, and one good advantage to this bow is that the limbs are interchangeable. So what happens is you can actually change these to even lighter limbs. You can get 35-pound limbs, and you'll enjoy shooting, and you'll have fun, and you'll go out small game hunting, and you'll do things that you want to get out into the woods and you want to enjoy the bow. Because you really don't need much more than 45 pounds to hunt for deer. I've used 45-pound recurves, and I've shot many deer, and it works well for me. There's guys that you want to hunt bigger game, you want to get a little heavier poundage, and a lot of guys now complain about their shoulders, and that means you can't shoot a bow, which that's no good. You want to be able to shoot a bow and have fun. So I recommend just getting yourself, it doesn't matter what brand it is, whatever brand you prefer, but just get a bow that really is nice, lightweight, and you can have fun with. And that's the whole idea in the outdoors, is be able to get out in the woods and enjoy yourself. That's the whole key. So out there, so if you have any questions, you can get in touch with me through the Vintage Outdoors, Eric Bunk Vintage Outdoors Facebook page. And if you go out there, just get a simple, you don't have to spend $1 million. Just go on eBay or wherever you can find and just get a cheap recurve and just have fun again. Go out there and hunt for small game. Go out and just stump shoot with some blunt tipped arrows and enjoy the sport more than just hunting, so you can be out there. So, good luck out there, and hopefully you'll enjoy yourself in the great outdoors. Take care. Okay, folks, that's all for our show this week. Tune in again next time for another episode of Eric Bunk's Vintage Sportsman. Thanks for watching.
Woohoo! Come on, guys, record! Woohoo! The fat guy's gone! Let's go!